Hello, it's the Old Geek, and in this video I will finally be reviewing an old module that I've been banging on about for a long time. In fact, it has been featured in more videos of mine than any other product. But this is the first time I've actually reviewed it properly, and that's because I've finally run it, as presented, for a group of players. And that module is N2, the Forest Oracle. Written by Carl Smith and published by TSR in 1984, The Forest Oracle was the second in the N series, with the N standing for Novice. The series had begun in 1982 with N1 Against the Cult of the Reptile God, an excellent adventure, but woefully unsuitable for the Novice tag due to its many moving parts and extreme difficulty level. The Forest Oracle followed the now standard format of a 32-page booklet, with a cardboard outer cover on which are printed some important maps. The cover art was by Keith Parkinson, internal artwork by Jeff Easley, and maps were by Diesel. But, to put it frankly, the cover is one of Keith Parkinson's weakest pieces. Easley's internal art is variable. Some of it is good, other pieces look like quick, rough drafts, and Diesel's maps are mostly lackluster. Smith's writing style is cumbersome and infuriating, and there is zero evidence of anybody having spent any time at all on editing the text, despite there being an editor listed in the credits. There are errors in monster stats. There are irrelevant monster stats. DM notes in box text that is intended to be read to players, text contradicting the maps, encounter numbering not matching map numbering, rooms missing, spelling and punctuation mistakes, and so on. If the editor was paid a single cent, it was too much. So the presentation can be described as laughable and shoddy, but does the module redeem itself in other ways? Plot, encounters, inspiration. Okay, the plot. A blight has infected the Downs. The party must travel to see a high druid in order to get the situation resolved. He gives them an antidote, but only after they have dealt with a group of goblins. Then on the return journey the party run into a group of travelling folk, their wise woman being the one who initially inflicted the curse upon the Downs. The party do a task for her, and she lifts the curse, because the druid's antidote will only fix next year's crops. And lifting the curse will help immediately. So why bother with all the faff of travelling to meet the druid? Because the module says so. In fact, it says a lot of things. Very linear, heavy-handed things. I did a series of shorts detailing flaws that I had found in the first half of the adventure. 13 YouTube short videos. Check them out if you're curious, because in this review I'm going to focus on the latter half of the adventure and any general nonsense that I may have missed, because I recorded those shorts before I actually ran it. The linearity of the module is laughable. In one section the party should be able to go straight through a cave network, missing every encounter due to its woeful map design. But the boxed text says otherwise, and assumes they follow every single side passage. There are side paths shown by the map leading off the forest trail to the High Druid, but the module instructs the DM that these cannot be found until the Druid has been spoken to. The goblins that infest some castle ruins, likewise, cannot be encountered until the Druid asks the party to deal with them, no matter how long the party wait at the ruins. The goblins will not turn up until the Druid has said, "Please go there and deal with them." The return journey assumes the party will avoid a known orc ambush and take a longer route through a potentially more dangerous portion of the forest. When the party know the orc numbers and are themselves fully rested and are likely to have found some magic items that are capable of obliterating a moderate-sized group of orcs very, very quickly. But no, they have to go the other way, because that's where they'll meet the gypsies. On the topic of magic items, treasure, etc., At first glance it looks normal for a TSR module. Quite a lot, but in most modules I've run, the party rarely get everything. But this module is so linear that it's highly likely that they will get everything, including a couple of ones that will trivialize what could be otherwise very interesting encounters, such as that orc ambush. Being a novice module, it tries to give help to the DM in places. A good thing. Well, if the advice is solid, yes. Oh no. Surprise rules are rewritten to be nonsensical, rarely fitting the details in the box texts. Everything, almost everything, is immediately aggressive and will fight to the death according to the instructions. No morale, no reaction rolls, just fight to the death. There's a section where the party must make ability checks, roll under to succeed. I mean, it's all right that a module advises on how to do these, as the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide does not mention them. So, what does the text actually say? Well, if the party take sensible precautions, the DM is instructed to add 3 to their rolls. Remember, they need to be rolling under a stat. So, following these instructions, it means a 15% higher chance of failure if the party are sensible and careful. And in one particular instance, this is a 15% higher chance of them falling to an instant death. Just process that for a moment. Now Bollo, the halfling, he has a lovely inn. Ignoring the where-at problem, I did a YouTube short about that, so check that out. His inn is busy and successful. Local farmers enjoy his hospitality. But take a look at the map. The inn is deep in the middle of thick forest. The tracks leading to it are described in the text as overgrown and barely used. Where are the local farms? How do the farmers get there? Do they fly 20 miles for an ale? Is his ale that good? How do they get home afterwards? I don't know. The High Druid, when they meet him, will cast Bless on the party every time they leave his domain. What a nice chap. Remember, this is mostly wilderness adventure. Bless lasts 6 rounds. 6 minutes. Oh, and Bless isn't even a druid spell in AD&D. The final bad guy in the adventure is an ogre called Olot. One ogre, for a party of well-equipped characters of levels 2 through 4. But he's a special ogre. He is cleverer. So much so that he has learned how to command a flesh golem. But it won't attack the party unless they attack it, as it will only attack the travelling people because it recognises their style of dress. Thus the PCs can walk straight past the golem and slaughter Olot at their leisure. Yeah. Olot has kidnapped a unicorn. Do you think an ogre would be able to resist killing and eating that juicy, fresh, magical horse flesh? Okay, he is described as being cunning or intelligent, and he is trying to extort a ransom from Madame Reaver, the wise woman, for the unicorn's release, because the unicorn is their pet. So we'll allow him to be somewhat more patient. The ransom he's asking for is 20,000 gold pieces. 20,000. And the reason Madame Reaver cursed the Downs was because the inhabitants refused to help her pay the ransom. And the text says that she went there and asked for their silver. Now, in AD&D First Edition, there were 20 silver pieces to a gold piece. 20,000 multiplied by 20 is 400,000. She asked them for 400,000 silver pieces. And how would she ship 400,000 pieces of silver to the ogre? Okay, I mean, do you want me to go any further? I will. One more. Geographers among you take note. The river that runs through the forest is a fast-moving torrent when it is first crossed by a rope bridge. Quite narrow, rocky, water moving swiftly enough to tear objects from unlucky PCs. On the return journey, the party crossed further to the south, about 20 to 30 miles further south, where it is slow-moving, shallow, and easy to ford, and according to the text, over a mile wide. Just process this, please. I've seen people defend the Forest Oracle, saying it can be fixed, and the adventure itself is fun. We had fun when we played it. We laughed a lot. I live streamed the playthrough, so you can see the evidence if you watch those. But we were laughing at the adventure and its absurdity. And yes, it can, by and large, be fixed. But in order to do so, vast swathes of it must be rewritten and discarded. Events need to be moved or removed entirely. Routes need to be opened up. Maps need to be redrawn. Monster numbers and treasure amounts need to be altered. Stats need to be corrected. And so on. Remember, N2 came out in 1984 and was an official TSR product. When you pay good money for a product from a company who have been in existence for a decade and who have published modules for more than half of that decade, you expect that product to be somewhat serviceable. And as initially presented, the Forest Oracle simply is not. Yes, there are other modules that require a DM to invest a lot of time in preparation. For example, D3, the Vault of the Drow. But that's because it's a complex sandbox, packed with details that are designed to be expanded upon. N2 is a novice module, aimed at novice DMs to help them, to advise them. N2 is supposed to be playable largely as is, and it isn't. So, a rating. As an AD&D adventure, as a novice adventure, I give N2, the Forest Oracle, a big fat 0 out of 10. It has no redeemable qualities for the purpose for which it was produced. It offers nothing of value. It's a waste of time, money, and the paper it was printed on. But, hang on. Something so bad has a place in history, doesn't it? Like a dreadful B-movie that becomes a cult classic. And 40 years after its initial publication, the Forest Oracle is AD&D's version of a cult classic. It's so bad, it's funny, and you simply must read it for yourselves. Well, I've been the Old Geek. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all of that. Come and play games with us. And until the next video, see ya.